Tom Cameron Crazy.
Ed Huntley. David Brainerd.
John Chen.
Tom Brokaw.
Terror Trail. New details tonight on two developing stories. An American arrested at a London airport on charges of helping Al-Qaeda. And from Canada, those bizarre threats. How close did they ever come? Data theft. Fallout tonight from the new revelations that 80% of active duty military personnel had their personal information stolen. That's 2 million Americans in uniform. Our series, American Boomers, younger retirees looking for new ways to serve, volunteer, and help young students. And is it crossing the line? A conservative author's attack on 9/11 widows. This time, has the debate in this country just gone too far?
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening, and sadly again here tonight we're going to begin on the subject of terrorism. This evening we are tracking two different fronts. First, the arrest of an American picked up by police in London. He is accused of helping an Al-Qaeda plot to stage a series of spectacular attacks. The second front tonight, the one we've been following for a few days, Canada. The investigation there is widening, fanning out. Over a dozen remain locked up there, all the result of a bust that might have stopped some equally spectacular attacks there. Tonight, these two fronts and where they might lead. For investigators, that is a work in progress. We have two reports tonight, beginning with NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams on the London arrest of an American citizen.
London police made the arrest last night as the American man was preparing to board a flight to Pakistan. Court documents say he's Saeed Hashmi, age 26, and accuse him of providing cash and military equipment for Al-Qaeda terrorists. U.S. officials say the military gear was intended to support Al-Qaeda's jihad activities overseas, especially in Afghanistan, where it could be used against U.S. soldiers. The former head of counterterrorism for New York says Hashmi's arrest shows how persistent terrorism investigators are.
Hashmi was a jihadi. He was interested in fighting jihad in Pakistan. He had connections to serious terrorists in the UK. He was an American citizen. A very troublesome character.
Law enforcement sources tell NBC News Hashmi is also suspected of playing a role in a plot to attack half a dozen targets in London, including prominent buildings in the city's financial center. That plan was broken up 2 years ago when British police made arrests and discovered half a ton of fertilizer that could be used to make bombs. Investigators say Hashmi, the American just arrested, graduated from Brooklyn College in 2003 and left the U.S. for Pakistan shortly after that. The court documents say since January of 2004, he's been providing supplies to a contact who in turn took them to Al-Qaeda associates in South Waziristan, Pakistan, a remote area where top Al-Qaeda figures have long been thought to be hiding out. Investigators say Hashmi introduced this man, an American named Mohammed Babar, to the London plotters. Babar, arrested 2 years ago, has admitted taking part in similar activities in Pakistan to aid Al-Qaeda. While authorities believe Hashmi was deeply involved with Al-Qaeda overseas, they say tonight there's no indication he was helping to plan attacks here in the U.S. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.
This is Kevin Tibbles in Toronto. 3,000 miles from here, it has become Britain's turn, as police search multiple locations, taking a 16-year-old into custody and arresting a 21-year-old at the Manchester airport. NBC News has learned the arrest is tied to the Canadian terror sweep that so far has 17 people, including 5 youths, behind bars. The alleged plot? Blow up Toronto's CN Tower and Stock Exchange, even open fire on pedestrians in the street. They're also accused of planning to storm Canada's Parliament buildings in Ottawa and kidnap politicians. Even behead the Canadian Prime Minister, Stephen Harper.
Homegrown terrorists are by definition amateurs.
But security analyst Wesley Wark says the government must now prove these allegations were real.
The problem is that this case, the Toronto arrests, are poised somewhere between farce and something deadly serious.
Many in Toronto's Islamic community say the young men were influenced by a radical, 43-year-old Qayyum Jamal, who attended this mosque.
But it was an incident that took place here at the quiet suburban mosque when Jamal was introducing a local politician who'd been invited to speak that made many people sit up and take notice.
Member of Parliament Wajid Khan says Jamal lashed out at Canadian soldiers fighting the war on terror in Afghanistan.
He said that the Canadian troops are in Afghanistan to rape Muslim women.
And your response to that comment?
This is utter nonsense. It is absolutely not true.
Now, nearly a year later, Jamal and 16 others are in jail as Canadians wait to see if there will be even more arrests. Kevin Tibbles, NBC News, Toronto.
Another troubling story now, the investigations into the possible criminal misconduct by U.S. Marines serving in Iraq. The Marine Corps' top man spoke out about the charges today, as those who are defending the Marines who carried out this alleged massacre of civilians in Haditha talked about a possible reason for their behavior. With us tonight from the Pentagon, NBC's Jim Miklaszewski. Jim, what's the latest?
Brian, Marine Corps Commandant Michael Hagee was in Iraq last week to reinforce the Marines' core values and virtues. He's back now, encouraged by the conduct of most, but seriously troubled by the alleged actions of a few. For the first time since U.S. Marines were accused of massacring 24 civilians at Haditha last November, General Michael Hagee told reporters today he's gravely concerned by the allegations.
While Marines are proud of our high standards, they also know that if they violate these tenets, they will be held accountable.
But Reuters News Service reports today the accused Marines will claim that the civilians were killed in the middle of a chaotic battle with insurgents that went on for hours. Congressman John Murtha said recently that senior military officials who were briefed on the investigation gave him an entirely different story.
There was no firefight. There was no IED that killed these innocent people. Our troops overreacted because of the pressure on them, and they killed innocent civilians in cold blood.
In a separate case in Hamdaniya, 7 Marines and a Navy corpsman are accused in the shooting death of Hashim Awad, buried last April. Today, his body was exhumed and is being flown to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware for an autopsy. Military officials tell NBC News statements from several of the accused said they had deliberately set out that night to kill a suspected insurgent. Instead, they reportedly chose Awad at random, allegedly dragged him from his home, shot him, then placed an AK-47 and shovel next to the body to make it appear he had been planting a roadside bomb. All 8 suspects are confined to the brig at Camp Pendleton, California. Military officials say charges could be filed against them within a week. While General Hagee today accepted full responsibility for the conduct of his Marines, he also indicated he has no intention of resigning. Brian.
Thanks, Jim. Jim Miklaszewski at the Pentagon tonight. There is more to report, by the way, this evening about the theft of computer equipment and data from the home of a Veteran Administration analyst. Authorities in the state of Maryland are offering a $50,000 reward for information they hope will lead them to the stolen laptop computer that could contain personal information on nearly all active-duty military, National Guard, and reserve members in this country. That would mean 2.2 million Americans in uniform. NBC's Mark Potter reports tonight on how this is playing out through the ranks.
At Fort Benning, Georgia, home to 26,000 soldiers, word spread that now even active duty troops could face possible identity theft. Over coffee with friends this morning, Sergeant Nicholas Lusby worried that data thieves could steal his money.
You know, I earn my paycheck, every month, work hard for it. It's not right for somebody to go steal somebody's identity and take everything they earned away from them.
At Ranger Joe's, a military supply store, First Sergeant David Schneider had an even bigger concern, that his family could be targeted if the wrong people wound up with his personal information.
They got my name, my rank, my social security number. Now they'll know where I live.
Among the soldiers and their families, there is also disbelief and anger that a security breach like this could have happened in the first place. At a barber shop near the base, Captain Darren McDonough was angry that a Veterans Administration analyst was able to take sensitive personal data home.
So that one person that could have access to all that information and be able to actually take it out of their office, no security measures, that's disturbing.
Today, military and VA officials told NBC News the estimate that 2.2 million military personnel may be affected is a worst-case scenario. While the analyst's laptop and external drive were stolen from his home, Data disks were not taken, and it's not clear how much personal information had actually been transferred to the computer.
It's very likely that this information is simply sitting in a dumpster somewhere in suburban Maryland.
Are you aware of what your credit score is?
A loan company near Fort Benning isn't taking any chances, advising its military clients to closely monitor their finances now.
I think immediately they need to pull their credit reports.
Another headache for military families already facing enough difficulties. Mark Potter, NBC News, Fort Benning, Georgia.
On another front, after all the sound and fury over gay marriage this past week, when the Senate finally voted on it today, it was something of an anticlimax. Supporters of the amendment to ban gay marriage knew they didn't have the 60-vote so-called supermajority to approve it, but they didn't get a simple majority either. The final vote was 49-48, and a total of 7 Republicans voted to kill the amendment. President Bush said he was disappointed by the outcome, but said it sometimes takes several tries to amend the Constitution of the United States. We'll take a break here when NBC Nightly News continues this Wednesday night. NBC News In Depth, an NBC News exclusive. Tonight, what this man is telling the FBI about corruption charges in Congress. And later, perhaps you've watched it unfold this week on TV. Why is one controversial conservative author attacking the widows of 9/11? Why some are now asking, have you no shame?
All of us have internal plumbing. But for some of us with frequent bladder urges, doing errands also means knowing where all the bathrooms are along the way. The worry your pipes might leak means you don't always detour from your route. But you can take another direction. Talk to your doctor about how to take care with Vesicare. Vesicare, once a day, can reduce urges and may help effectively manage bladder leakage day and night. If you have certain types of stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems, do not take Vesicare. While taking Vesicare, if you experience a serious allergic reaction, severe abdominal pain, or become constipated for 3 or more days, tell your doctor right away. Common side effects are dry mouth, constipation, blurred vision, and indigestion. A chance to follow a whim, not always your urges. It's not just a pipe dream. Ask your doctor today if Vesicare is right for you.
Good thing there's the speed of Malox in a chewable, because nothing's faster. Malox, kick acid.
I've lived here all my life. I'm not going anywhere. I've made arrangements for assistance if I need it. I'm a realist. I know I'll be old one day.
Long-term care coverage from Mutual of Omaha Insurance Company.
I wish we had a big house.
I wish we had an affordable house.
Find your perfect place. It's easy at RE/MAX.com. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX.
The Braun Activator's smart foil captures hair growing in any direction for a closer shave. And its cleaning center keeps it feeling like new every day. The Braun Activator, the world's best self-cleaning shaver, guaranteed.
Dateline Wednesday, To Catch a Predator. They thought they were meeting an underage teen, but we had a little change in plans. NBC tonight at an early time, 8/7 Central.
NBC News In Depth tonight, an exclusive investigation, new information on the corruption investigation that has already sent one member of Congress, California Republican Congressman Duke Cunningham, off to prison. Now there are new allegations about another powerful Republican congressman from California who is already under criminal investigation. In Depth tonight, our report from NBC News senior investigative correspondent Lisa Myers.
You may not have heard of him, but Congressman Jerry Lewis is one of the most powerful members of Congress. Chairman of a committee that controls hundreds of billions of dollars. This man, Tom Casey, CEO of a now-defunct computer software company, has told federal investigators what he says happened in 1993 when he asked for Congressman Lewis's help in getting money for the Pentagon to test his product.
I just thought, in my opinion, it pressed the boundaries of what was ethical.
In an exclusive interview, Casey tells NBC News that after making campaign contributions to House members of both parties, Congressman Lewis informed him the Pentagon would get $14 million for the testing, and that Casey could even write the language. So you were allowed to write language for an appropriations bill yourself?
Yes, I did. That was Congressman Lewis's suggestion.
Casey says Lewis repeatedly urged him to hire this lobbyist, former Congressman Bill Lowry, Lewis's close friend. And when that didn't happen, pressed for another favor.
Congressman Lewis asked me to set up stock options for Bill Lowry in our company.
Casey says Lewis suggested he issue the stock options in Canada in someone else's name. Did you view it as an effort to hide what was really going on?
It was intended to conceal his participation, yes.
Congressman Lewis calls that charge patently false. Casey never issued the stock options and acknowledges he has absolutely no proof that Lewis did anything illegal. You went bankrupt. You have every reason to be bitter. Why should anyone believe you?
I have absolutely nothing to gain, and there is a need for reform.
Still, Congressman Lewis's relationship with Lowry is central to the expanding criminal investigation. A number of Lowry's clients have received subpoenas, and a study reveals that those clients have had a remarkable success rate in getting money from Lewis's committee.
Hundreds of millions of dollars have gone to this one firm's clients.
Both Lowry and Lewis deny any wrongdoing. Lewis says he has no recollection of urging that his friend be hired as a lobbyist, nor any recollection of allowing Casey to write language for a bill. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
We'll take another break here when Nightly News continues in just a moment. Our special series on American baby boomers and what they have figured out they have to offer to those who've yet to make the journey.
Are you at home trying to sleep, but your mind is still at the office? Reviewing tomorrow's agenda, charting out the future? Maybe it's time for you to be the boss. Ask your doctor about Lunesta. Even if you've never thought of taking a prescription sleep aid before, Lunesta is non-narcotic and approved for long-term use. And Lunesta can help you get a full night's sleep at last. Lunesta works quickly, so take it right before bed. Of course, do not use sleep medicines for extended periods without first talking to your doctor. Be sure you have at least 8 hours to devote to sleep before becoming active. Until you know how you'll react to Lunesta, you should not drive or operate machinery. Do not take Lunesta with alcohol. Most sleep medicines carry some risk of dependency. Side effects may include unpleasant taste, headache, drowsiness, and dizziness. For a great night's sleep, leave the rest to Lunesta. Ask your doctor.
Here you go, Pete. Hey, Pop.
2 years ago, I had a heart attack. If it weren't for Bayer aspirin, who knows?
The same Bayer aspirin I take for headaches and me for backaches helped save Pop's life.
It truly is a wonder drug.
What's that? This? Smart Start Healthy Heart. Healthy Heart? Yeah. It contains ingredients that may help lower both blood pressure and cholesterol as part of a healthy lifestyle. Cool. It's a cereal that helps take care of my heart. You see, I want to be around forever. Great.
The only one with ingredients that may help lower both. Kellogg's Smart Start Healthy Heart. Do more.
Long ago, nature brought 8 vegetables together to create a powerful form of vegetable nutrition. Turns out nature is one heck of a gardener. V8 100% vegetable juice. Don't just live, thrive.
I'm Pete. I've had nice bosses, mean bosses, short bosses, tall bosses, she bosses, he bosses, they bosses, serious bosses, nervous bosses, and one kind of funny boss. Now I'm the boss, and my plan is to keep the boss happy.
You do what you love. We'll help you keep your investments on track. Fidelity Retirement Income Advantage. Call 1-800-FIDELITY. Smart move.
Tomorrow, a Today exclusive. 2 beautiful babies born conjoined now go home to separate cribs. That plus a first look at Brad and Angelina's new baby on NBC.
A new vaccine for cervical cancer. NBC Nightly News tomorrow.
American Boomers, brought to you by Fidelity Investments. Smart move.
And we're back with our ongoing series here on the baby boom generation in this country. As they have quit their day jobs, having learned a thing or two along the way, more and more older Americans are turning their attention to the young, helping them learn just the basics. Their story tonight from NBC's Ron Allen.
Come on.
After 22 years helping kids get to school, baby boomer Julia Talley is nearing retirement, but still wants to put her free time to good use.
See that question mark?
So when class starts, Talley goes to work, helping students like Shanae Larry who struggles with reading.
I've been working with children all my life, so it might look hard, but it's not. I'm having fun.
But this is not your typical volunteer work. Talley, along with the other women in these Philadelphia classrooms, volunteers for Experience Corps, a program with just 2,000 members in 14 cities. Volunteers working with teachers to make sure third graders can read.
If they don't, the dropout rate is extremely high.
John Gomper says the program also is attracting a new breed of retiring professionals who want volunteer work that's more specialized.
This is not for fun. This is not to keep people active. This is to get a job done.
Oh, what's all of it?
Volunteers must pass a rigorous screening process, complete 20 hours of training, and produce results.
Very good.
Test scores show student reading levels are steadily improving. How do you know you're getting better?
Because I'm reading more books and reading better.
Now the next one.
Volunteers benefit too. They report their health improves. They're more active, use fewer medications, and have a sense of accomplishment.
I get a fulfillment when I go home knowing that I have touched their lives in a positive way.
The program is expanding, adding 4 more cities in the fall. And with millions of baby boomers nearing retirement, Experience Corps expects to have a huge pool of new recruits. Volunteers anxious to share a lifetime of experience and wisdom when there's still important work to do. Ron Allen, NBC News, Philadelphia.
To Wall Street now here in New York, the Dow fell for a 4th straight day, closing below the 11,000 mark for the first time since March, losing 71 points, closing at 10,930. NASDAQ was off nearly 11 points today. A quick word here about last night. If you were with us, then you know that because of a huge recent viewer response, we chose to re-air a sad and dramatic story that was shot by our own Richard Engel at an orphanage in Baghdad. And predictably, it has caused another outpouring of emails and calls and inquiries. While we made this following point on last night's broadcast, we should say once again that for all of us who were moved to want to adopt the children we saw in this report, it is simply impossible for a lot of reasons having to do with laws, religious laws, wartime restrictions, and foreign citizenship. Put even more simply, adoption, even for Iraqis, is against the law. But again, we have consulted with charities and aid organizations who say the best way to help is to place these children with their extended families and then help them financially. And all of that information remains on our website. That's nightly.msnbc.com. We at NBC Nightly News will continue to revisit the orphanage and report on their progress and well-being for you. We'll take another break here. When we come back after a break, did civility in this country just take a turn for the worse?
I'm a curious kind of guy. I want to know how things work, what makes them tick. So I was glad when my doctor prescribed Nexium for my acid reflux disease. I got the purple pill and signed up for Purple Plus, a great program from Nexium. I'm learning what I need to know to manage my acid reflux disease. With the Purple Plus program, I get useful advice, great-tasting recipes, even ways to save on my prescription. My doctor said prescription Nexium can relieve my heartburn and heal the erosions in my esophagus that acid reflux caused. So I don't just feel better, I am better. He also said I could still have other serious stomach conditions, and that headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain could be side effects of Nexium.
Ask your doctor if switching to Nexium is right for you. To learn more about Nexium and Purple Plus, call or visit our website.
Mints can trigger heartburn.
If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Tu prends une décision?
Pour réfléchir.
Pourrais me rendre très heureux.
D'accord, qu'est-ce que ça veut dire?
I wonder where the clogs went.
New Liquid Plumber Power Jet. Blast clogs away in 3 seconds.
They say your footprint is as unique as your fingerprint.
It's like me, unique.
That's why Dr. Scholl's created Memory Fit insoles with memory foam to form to the shape of your foot.
It forms right around your feet.
For customized comfort, see the doctor, Dr. Scholl's.
The Brawn Activator's smart foil catches hair growing in any direction for a closer shave. And its cleaning center keeps it feeling like new every day. The Brawn Activator, the world's best self-cleaning shaver, guaranteed.
When you're constipated, a stimulant laxative like Dulcolax can cause cramps. And cramps can give you a bad day. Philips Caplets don't have harsh stimulants, so you get gentle relief without cramps. Relief feels better with Philips Caplets.
Airbags, electronic stability control, anti-lock brakes, all standard. The new Hyundai Sonata. How's that for a different perspective?
Next, after Nightly News, how effective are Oregon's anti-meth laws? Find out from cops who work the neighborhoods hardest hit by meth. Plus, a live report from Waterfront Park, where Fleet Week has begun.
And we'll have the forecast for the big Grand Floral Parade. There is a little bit of rain heading our way before that. All the news and weather coming up in just a few minutes at 6.
Tonight we're going to go off the air with a report on civility in American life. The explosion in our media, our deafening national noise level, and our changing mores have made this a much different era in America than the one our parents grew up in. And just when you think it seems like there are no limits on anything, someone comes along and makes a comment that goes over the line that is shared by just about everybody, because some things, it turns out, are still sacred. The story tonight from NBC's Mike Taibbi.
Conservative pundit Ann Coulter was front-page news today for what she's written about some 9/11 widows, that these broads are millionaires, lionized on TV and in articles about them, reveling in their status as celebrities, and for what she said about them to the Today Show's Matt Lauer.
If you lose a husband, you no longer have the right to have a political point of view?
No, but don't use the fact that you lost a husband as the basis for your being able to talk about it.
Coulter was on the Today Show to push her latest anti-liberal book.
There's an important book that comes out today, Matt.
Already an Amazon.com bestseller. But the interview kept returning to Coulter's attacks on the 9/11 widows. She called them harpies and wondered whether their husbands had been planning to divorce them. From a statement from 4 of the widows, there was no joy in watching men that we loved burn alive, no happiness in telling our children that their fathers were never coming home again. We adored these men and missed them every day. Coulter says she believes everything she says and writes, but had she gone too far? Former White House advisor David Gergen.
It's the ugliness of the charge that she's making, the ugliness of the words that she's using that are drawing attention to her, but it's almost as if she's a figure in a circus, and you're saying, oh my God, can you believe that?
Still, the Tempest was a trigger for a red-blue debate today on MSNBC, with criticism for Coulter from both sides, a conservative radio voice.
I think it was shameful what she said, Chris, but I do think that these widows have attacked President Bush.
And a liberal counter voice.
I think she's a sad, pathetic, unhappy person.
All the fallout from a television exchange.
Look, you're getting testy with me.
No, I'm just, I think it's
likely to be remembered well beyond the impact of some ill-tempered sentences in print. Mike Taibbi, NBC News, New York.
That's our broadcast for this Wednesday night. Thank you for being with us. I'm Brian Williams reporting from New York. We'll look for you right back here tomorrow evening. Good night.
Homemade meth. Washington is going after supply, restricting sales of 2 key meth ingredients. But will this new law make a difference? We'll see how similar steps have worked in Oregon. War of words. 6 students suspended for threatening each other on MySpace.com. How kids are using the site to escalate arguments. And ships ahoy.
I think that you have one moment, and then in the next moment it disappears. And this is a whole new look at inspiration.
Dr. Wayne Dyer, America's foremost spiritual guide and mentor, presents 6 Steps to Inspiration, Your Ultimate Calling.
Your world
changes.
Join us tonight at 8 here on OPB.
Business Partners, Essential Retirement Guide, New Horizons Computer Learning Centers, and the Redirect Guide have made a contribution to Oregon Public Broadcasting. Additional funding has been provided by you, the contributing members of OPB.
This week on Oregon Art Beat, meet Israel Ano, usually in the background, playing drums for a variety of Portland musicians for years. Art Beat gives this talented musician well-deserved minutes in the spotlight. Tom May's been putting folk musicians in the spotlight on his nationwide radio program. We visit this folk troubadour in the studio and on stage at the annual Winter Folk Benefit.
Thursday night at 8 here on OPB.
Peter, Paul, and Mary Carry It On is a musical legacy following the trio's 40 years together. It features rare performances of their most famous songs, including If I Had a Hammer, Puff the Magic Dragon, and Blowin' in the Wind. Join Peter, Paul, and Mary for Carry It On, a musical legacy.
Thursday night at 8:30 here on OPB.
Dear Lisa, last week I fractionated thorium X. Then on Saturday, Strasser
Dear
and
Otto,
I
your radium results are very startling.
Tune in to The Path to Nuclear Fission, the story of Lisa Meitner and Otto Hahn.
Friday night at 10 here on OPB.